Okay, I had to make this video because I watched some videos. This is a Pontiac Grand Am, 1996. It's got a 2.4 liter twin cam, not a quad 4, but a 2.4. And I watched some videos on if you're getting water leaks and you can't find it, most likely it is what's called, this is your water intake. You look at it, it's on, you look at the engine, driver's side over there, it basically positions right down where you see that open port down there. You see right down on the bottom there, that open port. What it does is it positions like that, or wait a minute, sorry. It positions like that. You have your main line, I don't know if you can see it or not. You have your main line out of the radiator and the input that goes into the engine. That connects here. You have your water sensor connector here, temperature. And then you got a tube. You got a tube, that little bugger right there, I don't know if you can see it or not. See that little nipple thing sticking out there? That's right, I said nipple. That's a tube that goes around this side of the engine and ends up feeding into that. It's basically a tube that connects to a hose right there, okay? And I found a way, the only reason I'm making this video is I found a way to save a lot of time. I'm going to use a light here for better purposes. Okay, basically what there is there's two 10mm bolts. See that nipple right there, the tube running there? You got two 10mm bolts that hold that thing into place. And I watched some videos where they're impossible, almost impossible to get at. And on this, the problem I had with this is underneath this power steering pump, there's a sensor that's right in the way of the movement of that 10mm bolt on the left side. So I thought, screw it, I'm not going to dick around with this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these, all there is two bolts that hold that power steering into place. And basically how that power steering drives, it's not up a belt. It's actually receives into this port here. You can see there, and it's basically driven by the cam. So I took those two bolts out, and it's amazing how much this opened up. I mean, this job, a 3-hour job is now turned into, if I would have knew this right from the start, and that's the only reason I'm making this video, is if I would have knew this right from the start, I would have taken those two bolts out and had everything right there to get at. I mean, you can see, I'm going to drop this light here. You can see, I mean, look at the room that's in there now. You got more room than you know what to do with. Basically, all I need to do is clean that chamfer on the cutout there on the opening. It doesn't seal on that flat surface. It seals on an O-ring, and that O-ring seals on that chamfer. It's like a 30-degree chamfer or something like that, or a 45. And I'm just, yeah, like I said, the only reason I'm making this is just to make everybody's life easier and just take the two bolts out on the power steering, move the power steering off to the side, and then you got all your wiring, all your plugs, everything's right there. The only thing that you need to wire up, and you can do that even before you mount it, is, let me see if I can get a light down in here. I suck at this. I'm not a YouTube guy, so be patient with me. You don't like it? Well, see that little sensor right there? That's the little prick that was in my way, that was in the way of that 10mm bolt right there. And that's the only reason I dropped it. And I realized, son of a bitch, I got all this room once you do it. So all it is two bolts. Basically, you just put this down here. Oop. Okay, I'm just not so smooth here. Basically, all it is a matter of taking this new one. All I did was transfer the water temperature sensor over to that. All I gotta do is bolt it up, pop that, put the new O-ring on that tube, pop this into place, receive the tube into that little hole, and it just pushes in there and seals that way. Hook my sensor, my water temperature control sensor, or just sensor, hook that up, hook the spark plug up, hook the power steering up, and hook my hoses up, and I'm good, and everything's right out in the open. So just a little tip for you guys: don't be spending the whole day with universal ratchet or universal sockets and elbows and quarter-inch drive stuff feeding around a bunch of wires and underneath that you can't see. Just take the 2 bolts out of the power steering, pull the power steering off the side. You're not going to damage anything, because basically there's no hard tubing to that. The only hard tubing is basically the hose. The power steering hose goes to that crimp, and then basically that hose is a whip line, and then it goes to hard tubing to the pump. So you can move that thing all over the place because there's hose on it. So I thought this would be helpful to people. And there's that O-ring. I don't know if you can see. I don't know why this thing isn't focusing, but there's the O-ring. Pop it into place. Put that O-ring on the other one. Get it back together so my daughter can go take it out and wreck the car again so I can get to work on it again. So that's my only purpose, is to fix her car on my weekends off. So I thought that would be helpful. Thanks guys for watching, and goodbye.